Do you want your base makeup to stay in place for 12 hours or more? Then if you do, you need to watch this video. That was sassy. So I put on a little video a while ago about my makeup that had been on for 16 hours on my Instagram story, and I did a little poll, and I was like, would anybody like to see my routine on how I get my makeup to last this long? And everybody said yes. So I thought that I would film a stay in place base routine. So if you'd like your makeup to stay in place for hours and hours on end, then carry on watching. Step one of long-lasting base makeup is your skin prep. So starting with your skin prep, it's really important. So I'm going to show you how I prep my skin first, then I'm going to let that settle in and do a quick eye makeup, and then we'll go on to the base routine. So first of all, I'm going to start off with freshly cleansed skin, and then a setting spray. Any setting spray you want. I really love Decay. It's a great one. Yeah, so we're just going to spritz it all over his face. So if you've got more oily skin, you might want to go for more of a mattifying setting spray. The Makeup, they do this one in a matte one, but also the Makeup Revolution mattifying setting spray is also really great. And if you've got really dry skin, then you could go for more of a dewy hydrating setting spray, but I just like this kind of middle one. You're going to spritz that, leave it to dry down. So once it's dried down, we're going to add in a little bit of a oil controlling primer. I don't get overly oily skin, but where I do tend to get oily is just around the sides of my nose and a little bit on my forehead. Please ignore this spot, it's very sore. So we're going to use the Makeup Forever Shine Control Primer, and you literally need a tiny little amount of this. I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I'm just going to place some just on the sides of my nose and just really work it in. And then just on the centre of my forehead. This is a really nice one because it's not got like a really thick texture like some oil controlling primers do. I'll put a little bit on my chin as well. I don't really like primers when they feel like quite silicone-y, so this is just a really thin one. It works really well, it's brilliant. And then just leave that to dry down again. So I like to make sure that all my products have dried down in the layers before I go on to my next product. It just means that your product's set and working. And then next, once those products are all dried in, we want to add some hydration into our skin. So I'm going to use two different things. I'm going to use the MAC Hyper Real Serumizer Skin Balancing Hydration Serum. Gorgeous product. And also the Vive Skin Nova, which is an instant radiance primer. Again, just really hydrating, makes your skin look lovely. And these two products together are really nice. So I'm going to mix them together in my hand. They're both quite shimmery products, so you're going to get a real nice glow for them. If your skin is quite oily, then you might want to go for a little bit more oil-free moisturiser. The Roche-Posay do a really nice one. I can't remember what it's called, but I do have it in my kit. And then we're going to leave that to dry down. So I'm going to do a quick eye makeup now while that's drying down and settling in my skin. And then we can move on to our base. I'm going to do a winged liner today. I've not done a winged liner in ages, but first I'm going to start off with some eyeshadow. So I've already done my brows and put an eye base on. For my eye base, I've used my trusty Collection Last Infection Concealer. This concealer is the best. I've used it for more or less near enough all my makeup career, which has been 10 years. 10 years of using this concealer. I think that they have changed the formula slightly. The one when they had the gold lid were a lot better than this one, but this one is still good. It just don't quite reach how good the other one was, but it's still a really good one. So I'll put that down as my base, and then we're going to use this little MAC eyeshadow palette. I think we're going to do a little bit more of a cooler tone eye today, maybe. I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. Connect in Colour, that's what this one's called. Okay, I'll show you which shade. This one. It looks a little bit greyer in real life, to be honest. That looks warmer on camera than what it is. So we're just going to start off with this shade and on quite a fluffy brush. We're just going to build it up just on our edges of his eye. So we're just building that colour up and just blending it out. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see my eyes a little bit better. I'm just bringing it just slightly into my crease a little bit as well. And that's created just like a nice little soft contour of my eye, hasn't it, really? I want to add something a little bit darker, but I don't. Them tones are too warm. I might just leave it like that actually. I'm just going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to add some of this Frosty shadow, and I'm just going to add that with my finger. So I'm just going to tap that in and then just tap that onto my lid. I always like pressing my shimmers on with my finger rather than using a brush. I find that they go on so much better. I like to be quite messy as well with my shimmers. What do we think? So we're going to do a winged liner. We're going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Inks liquid liner, pen liner. Look at that, stunning. So we're going to create, I want to create like a really lifted eye effect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a little bit closer in than where my eye ends. And lift. Is that matching? No. So when I'm doing a winged liner, I always like to draw my bottom line first. They're not matching, but it's fine. And then I'm gonna draw from my middle of my eye up towards my wing, but not always, not all the way at the end of my wing, because I want to keep, that's how you get like a nice sharp bit on your end here, by not bringing it all the way to the end. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna draw my line. I like to kind of do them at the same time because I find that it's easier to match them up when you do them at the same time. Right, colour it in. This is a very nice eyeliner. I think this is the first time that I've used this. I've got them in all different colours as well. Maybe we could try and funk it up one time with different colour ones. So what I like to do is I like to keep looking forward into my mirror and just seeing what bits I need to add to. Right, and I'm going to do an inner corner wing because I've also not done one of them in a while. So I'm just going to pull that down from my top lid. Now I'm going to neaten these wings up. So I'm going to try and... Oh, I think some dog's having a little scratch on the street. So I'm just going to get my concealer and get a little flat brush like this one. And I'm just going to really neaten that edge up. Now I hate that brush, I don't even know why I picked to do it with that brush. Let's get a little brush like this instead. Oh my god. Oh, that's a bit better. There we go. Right. This was supposed to be a quick and easy eye makeup, and it's just turned into something that's stressing me out. Sometimes I do eyeliner and it just goes perfect first time. Sometimes I do eyeliner and this happens. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna add some nice chunky mascara using the Benefit Bad Girl Bang. My favourite mascara ever. So we're just gonna really build this up on his lashes. Stunning. That's his eyes done. Now let's move on to his base. The real reason why you're all here. So me personally, when I do a long lasting makeup, I don't like to have like a thick, heavy foundation, full coverage foundation. I find that it don't make your makeup last as long because there's just more product to move about. But that's just my personal opinion. You do you. This does still work. These techniques do still work with a full coverage foundation, but I just find on myself it works a lot better when I don't use a full coverage foundation. So we are going to still be using a product on as full base, and we're going to be using this Rimmel Multitasker. This product is honestly so stunning. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so I can show you how this goes on my skin. So my skin's quite glowy anyway, just from our products that we've used to prime as base with. So I like it because it's got this nice big foot thing. So watch how this goes on. It honestly just makes your skin look so, so stunning. It adds a small amount of coverage, a little bit of a glow, and I find that it's also really hydrating on my skin, which I really like for a base product because sometimes throughout the day I find that my skin can get a little bit oily like around my nose and things, but I find that my face in general can feel quite dry when I've got my makeup on for a long period of time. So I do like something that's quite hydrating. So I'm just going to do this just on one side of my face and blend it first, and then I can show you what it looks like in comparison to the other. And then I'm going to get a little brush to blend it. So I like to use quite a fluffy brush to blend it. Blend it down my neck, into my nose. And we're just going to start tapping that in, make sure that it's blended really nicely everywhere. That's the side with it on, that's it without. Can you just see it just kind of evens your complexion? It's just a very, very beautiful product. So we shall do the other side and get that bloody spot covered up. I find that you don't really need to use a lot of that product either. Like one little dip is enough for like one side of your face. So 2 dips, full face is done. So now we're going to go on to his cream bronzer. I really love Bperfect. Bperfect bronzers are the best. This is in the shade Pecan, and I'm going to use a brush like this Doll Beauty one. I quite like a dense brush when I'm using a cream bronzer. So I'm just going to dip my brush in, and then we're just going to start just on his forehead near his hairline, We're just going to really press that product into her skin. I find that when I'm watching my YouTubes back, when I'm editing them, I feel like I look like I'm being a little bit aggressive with my face when I'm applying products. I'm not. Maybe I am. Not intentionally. It just looks like I'm doing it. I think because I do it quite quick, it looks like that I'm just kind of smashing my brush into my face. And then I'm just going to do it just on my cheeks. I like to keep it nice and high, nice and lifted, so your face looks nice and lifted. When I've not got as much left on my brush, I just kind of like to pat just all over my face just to make sure that it's blended nicely. Now for this cream blush, I'm going to use the Bperfect and Ekinsu Radiant Blush Luxurious Liquid Blusher. This is in the shade Conspiracy. This is a new shade, so the original shade, I can't remember what it's called, but there's 3 new shades, and this is kind of like there's like a deeper one that's still pinky but with more like bronzy kind of undertones. There's one that's like really quite a bright pink, and then this one is in the middle of them two. Very, very beautiful. I'll show you. And you get so much product as well. Like, it's great how much product you get in these. They last a really long time. So I always like to put my blush on my hand first, and then I'm just going to dip my brush into them, and then we're just going to start applying that blush. So I like to keep it quite high on my cheekbones, just same as what I did with that bronzer. Just tap it out, blend it up onto my temple slightly. So every product that I'm using is a really glowy product. If you're wanting a more matte base, then use more matte products. You don't have to use these specific products for everything to set in place. It's just the steps that I've taken that help the makeup set in place. So you can do this with any products that you want. So I always like to tap my blushes on and my cream bronzer. I like to tap my cream products on top of my base, just so I'm not moving my base around too much. I'm just going to add a little bit to my nose. So now we're going to go on to his concealer. So I'm going to apply my concealer a little bit different from what I normally do. I'm going to apply it to my hand first, and I'm going to kind of work it into my hand like that. So I'm just using the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer because it's my favourite. I'm going to use my finger first, and this is going to cover up any blemishes, that big spot on my head and on my nose. So I'm just going to tap in and just build that product up. I really like to use quite a matte concealer for this part, just because I find that really helps your makeup stay in place when you use them. When you're using something for coverage, if it is more matte, then I find that it does help stay in place a little bit longer. But you do you. Use whatever concealer you want. So now, to add a little bit of coverage under my eyes and everything and brighten things up, I'm going to use my concealer and I'm going to use it on a brush, and I'm going to dip my brush in and work it into my hand first. And then just with minimal product, I'm going to start adding it to places where I want a little bit more coverage. So just onto my chin a little bit, just underneath my eyes. I want to use quite minimal product underneath my eyes because I don't want too much product there, just so it don't crease. So you want to just add just little amounts of product. You don't want to go in with too much concealer. It's not going to be able to set properly because you've got too much product on your face, and it's going to have more chance of moving about because you've got like a thicker layer of it on your face. So just thin layers and build it up. That's all you need. Thin layers, build it up. Right, crucial step. You've done your skin prep, you've finished your cream products, and now we're going to go into his powder products. But before that, you need to set your cream products in place. This is something that I've found has really helped my makeup stay in place. So we're just going to go in with the same setting spray as what we did at the beginning, or whatever setting spray of your choice. I'm going to spritz his face. Then you're going to let it dry. So while that's drying down, I'm going to go in with my little freckle tint, and I'm going to go over some little freckles that I've got and then add some more. I like to do this before powder just because I feel like once you've powdered over your freckles, they look a lot more natural. So I like to tap it on and then I'll tap with my finger over top of it just so they don't look too dark. God, that's gone bloody massive. So now as setting spray's dried down, we're going to start going in with his powders. So we're going to set everything in place with products that match them. Basically what we'll put on. So I'm going to use, for his cream bronzer, I'm going to use his powder bronzer. This is MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark Deep. And get a nice little angled brush. And we're just going to tap this into everywhere that we've just put that cream bronzer. I also like to just blend my eyeshadow slightly with my bronzer brush. I always find that it gives you quite a nice lift to your eyes, and that's obviously what we're going for with the wing. Ooh, nearly dropped that mirror. That's what we're going for with the winged liner. And then we're going to go in with blush. This blush is very well loved, as you can tell. The name has rubbed off and everything, but it is the Milani Baked Blush in Carolina. It is more of a ready tone blush. I've seen that people on TikTok and things are starting to love a ready tone blush. I've been wearing this blush for years, and honestly, it is my favourite. I will go back to this time and time again. I've got a few favourite blushes, but this is definitely my number one. It's just stunning. I feel like it's very complimentary of my complexion. It really makes my eyes stand out as well, which I like. I think that's nice. Very pretty. It's got a little bit of a glow to it as well. So we're just gonna place that. I like to use it quite light-handed as well. So I'm just going in with little bits at a time. On my nose. Stunning. So now we need to set everywhere else that we haven't put any powders. So I'm gonna go in with MAC Studio Fix powder just for underneath my eye and towards my inner corner, just to brighten that a little bit. I find that this is a very nice powder for brightening, but I don't really tend to use it as a setting powder. It is like a powder foundation, a setting powder, but yeah, I just kind of like to use it to add a little bit more coverage, to add a little bit of brightness underneath my eye. So we're just gonna tap that on towards my inner corner. I don't bring it all the way underneath here, kind of just focus it just in this area. I find that it just airbrushes your skin a little bit, and when I've not got as much left on my brush, we're just gonna tap around the edges. I find that this is a very beautiful powder. Yeah, you can see, just kind of airbrushes everything. It's stunning, it's really nice. This is, what shade is this? NC25, this one. I'm gonna do the same on this eye. I'm just gonna add a little bit to my forehead, and then just a tiny little bit to my chin as well. And then next for setting everywhere else, I'm gonna use the RCMA No Colour powder. I've used this powder for years. This is actually the old container of it, but it's got new powder in it, because I bought some new powder from the kit and I split it in half because it takes ages to get through, so you might as well share it. So I'm gonna get some in my hand. I'm just gonna place a little bit where I get oily, just around my nose. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit on my forehead again, and then just a little bit on my chin. And then I'm gonna get a big brush, and I'm gonna dip my big brush in the powder, and we're just gonna tap that everywhere else now, just to make sure that it's nice and set. Let's make sure that everything feels really nice on my skin, because I hate feeling sticky. One thing, like, do you know when you can feel your foundation, everything set on your face? And I find that if you don't set it well, that is how it ends up feeling, and it's not nice. And you can still see the glow coming through as well. Okay, so brush that off. So we set everything in place. I want to add a little bit more hydration back into my skin, because I said that my skin can sometimes start to feel a little bit dry in some parts throughout the day, so I'm gonna add a little bit of hydration. I'm gonna use a hydrating setting spray. Getting your makeup to stay is all about the layers and the sprays. So we're gonna use the Mrs. Glam Glorious Skin Spritz Hydrate and Set Long Lasting Setting Spray. It's just a really hydrating setting spray. It's really nice and it smells really nice as well. I'm just gonna spritz this all over my face, and then just gonna let that dry down. While waiting for that to dry down, I'm gonna add just some little finishing touches. So I'm gonna add a tiny little amount of bottom mascara, just so you can see my bottom lashes. Just the MAC, I think it's the Extended Play Mascara. Just a really nice wand for your bottom lashes. I'm gonna add some highlighter onto the already glowing skin, but I love to be glowy. So I'm gonna use a Vive Skin Dew. You literally need the tiniest amount of this, so I like to put it just on the back of my hand. Look, that is all that I've got on my hand. You don't need a lot. And I'm just going to tap my finger into it, put it on where I want a little bit of glow. So my nose. I like to put it on this part of my nose. I don't know what that part of your nose is called. Bridge, maybe? This part. I find that it just makes your overall skin look really dewy when that bit looks dewy. So that is something that I like to do. And then just tap just on tops of my cheekbones with it. Gorgeous and glowy. And now I'm going to do his lips. I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Artist Colour Pencil in Endless Cacao. I'm just going to do like a really soft line and blend it out with my finger. So I'm going to get my finger and just blend that out. So we're kind of using this as a bit of a contour for his lips. And then I'm going to go in with another lip liner. This one's from Avon, and my grandma gets it made. It is stunning. It's the Avon Glimmer Stick in Simply Spice, and it's like a pinky kind of tone. I'm going to line his lips with this one. And then I'm going to add a gloss. I'm going to go in with the Giorgio Armani Prism Gloss in shade 02. And now for the star of the show, what is going to really help lock everything in and keep it on your face for 12 hours. Or more. So this is the Crayolan. I'm not very good at pronouncing stuff. The fixing spray. You can get it in big bottles, you can get it in these little bottles. I really like these little bottles just because they're easy for me for when I'm travelling with my kit and everything. So we're going to spray his face. It smells like hairspray, which takes me back to when I used to spray hairspray on my face as setting spray when I was in school. So I think it's the same kind of thing, but maybe better for your skin. So we're going to spray his face, and then I like to keep my eyes closed for a little bit after, because sometimes it can be a little bit stingy on your eyes. So we're going to spray it. I usually tell my clients to hold the breath as well, just because it's not that nice breathing it in. And that's his makeup done. Stay in place base routine. So throughout the day, I might need to add a little bit of powder if I get a little bit oily anywhere, but I tend not to because I don't really tend to get that oily with the skin prep and everything that I've done. But if I do, or if it is a little bit warmer outside, then I'll just use a little bit of translucent setting powder. Obviously, other thing that I will need to top up is my lipstick, because my lipstick does not stay on for very long. I also don't like to wear anything that stays on my lips for long because I find that my lips get really dry. So just my lipstick and just a little bit of powder is literally all that I will need to top up on this makeup. So every single product that I've used, as well as the discount codes, will be linked below. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that you can copy this and your makeup stays in place for hours and hours. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.